Welcome back to Ghost Pirate Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we do another deep dive into Prime Video. And with that, let's get to the list.
This isn't you.
Dream Eater is a 2025 Canadian found footage horror movie, co-written and directed by Jay Draculic, Mallory Drum, and Alex Lee Williams, and stars Drum and Williams. A filmmaker documents her boyfriend's violent parasomnia during their vacation at a remote cabin in the woods.
Alex?
Come back to bed.
So this was put out last year and it was produced by Eli Roth. And I heard a bit of buzz about it, but I just hadn't got around to checking it out until this week. And I really enjoyed this. Now, you got to keep in mind, this is a very, very small movie. It is a one location, two actors, and that's basically it. And so the budget and the style of filmmaking is that very DIY type of indie film. And even though I'll say some of the writing didn't necessarily blow my socks off, like the dialogue at times was a little shaky and stuff like that, what really makes this movie shine is the couple in it. And they're actually a real couple, and it really shows. I mean, you can feel the tension. You can feel the intensity between the two of them, especially as things ramp up. It's one of those things that is organic to the point where it's hard to duplicate that. When you see it with a real couple, and you can really feel the true emotions there, it just really jumped off the screen for me. Even the way they address each other and the little pet names and things like that, it's so organic. It's one of those things that you see in a lot of movies where it just doesn't feel real, and in this movie it does. And so I think when things get violent and really creepy and unnerving, especially as it winds towards the end, there's something about it that just makes it that much more uncomfortable. But this is not a movie for people that want some big budget kind of horror movie or anything like that. This is one that's made for people that are horror cinephiles, that watch basically everything and really support and enjoy little indie films, especially the found footage kind. But if that's the kind of thing that you're into, this is one I think you absolutely need to check out. DEUS IRAE is a 2023 Spanish supernatural horror movie. Written and directed by Pedro Cristiani, it stars Pablo Rigoni, Gaston Ricard, and Sabrina Machi. Father Javier belongs to a trio of excommunicated priests who hunt the possessed down to exorcise them. But when the only way to crush evil is by becoming something even worse, not even God is on their side. So I talked about this one a few months ago, but I wanted to mention it again here because I just still don't feel like there's much buzz for this. It never gets talked about, and I don't know why, because as far as foreign horror goes, in recent memory, this is one of the most badass. It's brutal, it's weird, it's unique. Yes, it's to do with subject matter we've seen done a ton. And so I think that's probably why a lot of people haven't given this a chance, because, you know, possession kind of horror movies are a dime a dozen. But the way this goes for it, the brutality in it, the weirdness, the grossness, just all of those things, the visuals of this are so savage. On top of that, it's full of surprises and does things in a different way than what you're used to seeing done. Besides that, it's well shot, well directed, the cast is fantastic. Just in general, it's a really quality made film. But the thing about this one that I enjoy the most is how real the evil feels, how uncomfortable it makes you. just how disturbing, especially as it gets towards the end, this movie feels. It's one of the things I love so much about Spanish horror is when they're done right, there's just this sense of evil that just radiates out that is just so much more disturbing and haunting than a lot of other horror movies made in other places. But I'm telling you, this movie is badass. So if you're a fan of foreign horror, this is one that I highly recommend.
This is where the story really starts.
Weapons is a 2025 mystery horror movie, written, produced, and directed by Zach Cregger. It stars Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, and Amy Madigan. When all but one child from the same class mysteriously disappear on the same night at the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind the disappearances.
Every kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs, and into the dark.
So this was one of the biggest hit horror movies of last year, to the point where this movie even won an Oscar for Amy Madigan's performance. And so I'm just gonna assume that the vast majority of you have already seen this. So that's not why I'm talking about it this week. I'm talking about it for two reasons. One, it's available now to watch for free on Prime. So if you haven't seen it for whatever reason, or just want to rewatch it, now is a great time. Because if you have a Prime membership, it's free. The other reason is Amy Madigan won an Oscar for this, and that is so amazing. It's one of the very, very few Oscar wins by a horror movie performance in history. Like, it's crazy. It's a huge, huge accomplishment. And I was excited to find out this past week that they're making a sequel to this, and it's Gladys. So the character that Amy Madigan plays, I won't say anything in case you haven't seen this to spoil the movie, but the role that she plays, they're making a sequel of sorts around that character. So my guess is it's going to be a prequel of sorts. That's a guess. I don't know for sure, but if you've seen the movie, you know why I'm saying that. But I love the idea of that, because I would love to see that character flushed out more and see the directions that they could take that. Besides that, Zach Cregger basically has a blank check as far as I'm concerned to make anything he chooses to. Like, I'm really excited that this year he is making his own version of Resident Evil, and hopefully we'll be getting a trailer for that soon, but I can't wait to see what that's going to be like. But for him to say that he has an idea to make a sequel to this around that character, I am so on board. But if you haven't seen this movie, it's fantastic. It's weird, it's creepy, it's definitely its own thing. It's got a real weird sense of humor in it that a lot of people didn't even register as humor. Like, the final act of this is meant to be campy and over the top and have an element of humor to it in a weird, twisted, dark humor kind of way. And so that didn't land for everybody, just the final act. Like, pretty much the movie overall landed for most people. Like I said, it was a huge hit last year. But just the final act, it's very weird, and it feels like it's kind of out of nowhere if you're not familiar with the humor and the way that Zach Cregger kind of sees film. Because there is a lot of that same sick, twisted sense of humor in this that there was in Barbarian. And if you know his history, he started out doing a comedy troupe, The Whitest Kid You Know. So, like, he has roots in comedy first before he became a filmmaker. But I just think this movie is fantastic. So if you've yet to see it, or if you want to rewatch it, now is a fantastic time while it's on Prime.
You mother...
Pretty Lethal is a 2026 action thriller directed by Vicky Jewson. It stars Maddie Ziegler, Millicent Simmons, and Uma Thurman. It follows a group of ballerinas as they try to escape from a remote inn after their bus breaks down on the way to a dance competition.
Years of dedication, pain, but not everyone achieves their dream.
Girls, get your things. We need to get out of here.
This movie is fantastic. It is so much fun, and I hope more people give this one a chance and check it out, because it's a Prime original and it dropped this past week. And I'm just not hearing much buzz around this, and it's frustrating because I think that a lot of people will really dig this movie. It's one of those genre mashups where it has horror, thriller elements, it has gory elements, violent elements, it has this John Wick kind of frenetic pacing in a way, like the fight scenes and things like that, the way it's shot, it's gritty. There's a sense of humor though about it. Like the movie doesn't take itself too serious. And so it allows you to have fun with the situation. But it's dirty and brutal and super, super bloody. The violence is way over the top and just a great time. But the cast is fantastic here. They all play these really interesting characters that are a lot of fun. Uma Thurman just kills this role. It's well shot, well directed, it's edited in a great way. It's just a super entertaining movie. So if you're in the mood for an action thriller, this is an incredible pick.
Get these people home, Sheriff.
Do everything I can.
Promise me.
From is a 2022 sci-fi horror series. Created by John Griffin, it stars Harold Perrineau, Hannah Cherami, and Eon Bailey. The story unravels the mystery of a city in the middle of the US that imprisons everyone who enters.
Everyone sees the tree. Those crows. We'll just get out of here, please.
Kevin, we are stuck.
We didn't come here. We were brought.
So this series has multiple seasons at this point, but the reason I wanted to mention it this week is that season 1 is available for free if you have a Prime membership on Prime, and you have to get their add-on if you want to watch the other seasons, but you at the very least can watch the first season, and I'm telling you, it is one of the best horror series out there, and season 1 is incredible. To be totally honest, I am not completely caught up with the show, so I need to get on that and watch the rest of the seasons, but this first season by itself is great TV. It's so eerie and creepy, and some of the imagery is really just terrifying horror imagery. Besides that, it's really well written, and the situations and the mystery behind everything, the cast, the dialogue, the position that everybody's put in, it's just a really well put together series. And so if you're looking for a new series to binge, this is a great choice.
You are already dead!
12 Monkeys is a 2015 sci-fi thriller series. Created by Terry Matalas, it stars Aaron Stanford, Amanda Scholl, and Emily Hampshire. It follows the journey of a time traveler from the post-apocalyptic future who appears in present day on a mission to locate and eradicate the source of a deadly plague that will nearly destroy the human race.
How do you know my name?
You gave me this mission.
You think you're from the future?
I know. It's hard to wrap your mind around. Now, please. Where is Leland Frost?
While this show was on, it was one of my favorite series. Like, I love this show. And all 4 seasons are available now on Prime. They just recently added it. But I think it's so good. I just really, really enjoy this show. And it originally aired on the Sci-Fi Channel, but it hasn't gotten a ton of buzz. And I think because, like a lot of shows that are on the Sci-Fi Channel, they never really got big mainstream buzz like other shows do. And I don't think this show has ever really gotten the love that it truly deserved. But for a Sci-Fi Channel series, like the budget, the look of it, the cast, everything was really top notch and well done. But I loved the original movie back in the 90s, so when I saw that they were making it into a series, I was excited right away and jumped on board with it from the very beginning. But it was cool to kind of see those ideas and concepts that were in the movie flushed out in a slightly different way. Yeah, there's a lot of the same story here, but the directions that it takes it and the in-between, so to speak, is where this becomes its own thing. But like I said about From, if you're looking for a new series to binge, this is a really, really good one. Especially because all 4 seasons are available now on Prime, so you don't have to wait for them to come out or anything like that. But it's not anything super deep, it's not a show to overanalyze or anything like that. It's just a fun, action-packed thriller kind of series. But one that I think you really could have a good time with, so definitely add this to your list. Super Dark Times is a 2017 psychological thriller directed by Kevin Phillips. It stars Owen Campbell, Elizabeth Cappuccino, and Charlie Tahan. After a traumatic accident, an inseparable pair of teenage boys and their best friends lose their innocence and sanity from jealousy, violence, and paranoia.
Do you remember Daryl Harper? Got a call from his mom. Guess he never came home last night. Did you see him at school today?
This is such a powerful, emotional, dark movie. It's one that really, really gets under your skin and sticks with you. And it is so well written. The dialogue, the way these teenagers are represented, it feels so real and it pulls you in and really sticks with you. And besides the writing, the cast here is incredible. I'm a big fan of Owen Campbell for one. Everything he's in after this, he's just always so impressive and throws himself completely into whatever role he's playing. But the emotional roller coaster ride that this movie takes you on, it's really, really powerful stuff. But this is not a fun movie by any means. This is a dark, emotionally charged kind of film, and one that if you're in the right headspace and wanting something that is along those lines, that's dramatic and intense and a real thrill ride, this is one you absolutely need to see.
You know what my mother used to call me?
The Neon Demon is a 2016 psychological horror movie directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. It stars Elle Fanning, Jenna Malone, and Christina Hendricks. An aspiring model, Jessie is new to Los Angeles. However, her beauty and youth, which generate intense fascination and jealousy within the beauty industry, may prove themselves sinister.
Beauty isn't everything. It's the only thing.
She has that thing.
This is one of the more underrated horror movies out there. It's incredible to look at and bizarre, intense, it's unique. It takes things in some wild directions. It throws so much at you. It's artistic and creative, but the cast here is something special. And so many of these actors have gone on to be pretty big stars in the film industry now. And it's crazy that this movie has been out for over 10 years at this point. And so every now and then I gotta bring this one up because it's so twisted and uncomfortable, disturbing and dark. But besides this just being a fantastic horror movie, I wanted to mention this because I was excited to find out this week that Nicholas Winding Refn, the filmmaker behind this movie, is finally doing a new movie. It's been 11 years since he put something out, but he's finally doing something new. So I'm really excited to see what he comes out with next. But this is a gritty, disturbing, uncomfortable, just weird as fuck horror movie, but one that I highly, highly recommend. Drop is a 2025 horror thriller directed by Christopher Landon. It stars Megan Fahey, Brandon Sklenar, and Violet Bean. A widowed mother's first date in years takes a terrifying turn when she's bombarded with anonymous threatening messages on her phone during their upscale dinner. This is a very entertaining, fun movie. It didn't blow me away, I'm not gonna lie. But it's one of those that isn't really meant to. Like, this is not anything reinventing the wheel. It's more of just a pressure cooker, an intense thrill ride that takes a few twisted turns that keeps you guessing just enough that you're entertained by. But this was done by Christopher Landon, who did Happy Death Day. He also did Freaky. Like, he does some really fun kind of thriller horror movies, and this fits perfectly in with the rest of his kind of movies. But they're not any kind of crazy, intense horror movies, not anything that's gonna disturb you or scare you to death, but more of just a fun thrill ride. But this movie looks great. The way it's shot, the set that they built that's up in this high-rise restaurant building, it looks incredible. And for anybody like me who's afraid of heights, this definitely has its moments that'll have you gripping the edge of your seat. But this is a movie that you don't overthink. You just go in and enjoy your popcorn with. But I think it's a fun thrill ride that's definitely worth taking.
You don't gotta be frightened. I'm not the boogeyman.
A House on the Bayou is a 2021 horror movie, written and directed by Alex McAllery. It stars Paul Schneider, Angela Serafin, and Jacob Laughlin. The story follows a troubled couple and their daughter, who go on vacation to an isolated house in the Louisiana Bayou to try and reconnect as a family. But when unexpected visitors arrive, the unity starts to unravel.
The devil is watching us all the time. Some of us invite him in, some don't.
Well, no offense, but I don't believe in the devil.
Devil believes in you.
This is one of my favorite Blumhouse movies that never got a theatrical release. It's one of their films that they just kind of dropped out there on Prime Video, and it never really got much buzz. Like, besides me, I don't ever see anybody else recommend or talk about this movie, but it's one of my favorites that Blumhouse has done in the last number of years. For one, it looks great. The set location, the creepy looking Louisiana Bayou, this house that it's in, everything and the way it plays out. It's just a really well put together movie. Like, it's well directed, well shot, well edited. But the cast is what really makes this movie shine. Especially Jacob Laughlin. Like, he is incredible in this movie. But I just love how surprising this is, because it has this mystery quality that makes you think one thing and then goes and changes things up. And every time you feel like you've got a beat on what this is doing, it'll go and surprise you again. But it's one of those horror movies that is just creepy enough, just dark enough that you can have fun with it while still getting that creepy horror vibe from it. But it's not so dark and fucked up that you won't have a good time. I just think it is a really great balance of all the things that make for a really entertaining horror movie, and one that I think is a perfect pick for this Saturday night. So do yourself a favor this weekend, pick one of the movies off of this list, grab your popcorn and your candy, and enjoy! And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button, and remember guys, horror can be fun, and I'll see you all next time!